Hi, this is Billy Tarasio from Modern Law, and I've got some questions here that we're going to go over regarding the tax implications of spousal support in Mesa, Arizona. This was a huge change about a year and a half ago, where for the longest time, spousal maintenance or spousal support or alimony was deductible for the person who paid it and taxed by the person who received it. And then in the beginning of 2018, that changed. Now, spousal maintenance is paid with post-tax dollars. So if I'm paying my husband spousal maintenance or my ex-husband spousal maintenance, I pay the tax, he does not. That's a big, big change, and it has affected the amount of spousal maintenance awards that are happening in Mesa and in the state of Arizona. This is a federal change, so it changed for the entire country, and people were rushing to get their divorces done before 2018. But unfortunately, now that ship has sailed. So who declares that information, that income? Well, that was the issue. The reason that the federal government made this change was because people who were receiving spousal maintenance weren't reporting it and paying income, and it was easier to tax the W-2 receiving spouse who was getting income. So that was the reason for the change, and it really hurt those people who were paying it, and it was really a great relief for the people who were receiving spousal maintenance. Why is understanding tax important consideration in any spousal support case in Mesa? Well, the other issue is that usually the person paying spousal maintenance was in a higher tax bracket than the person receiving spousal maintenance, which meant the federal government was receiving fewer overall dollars from the money that was exchanged for spousal maintenance. And now that that's no longer the case, the paying spouse who has the higher tax bracket is paying the spousal support. And that does mean that there's less money to go around, because if more money is going to the federal government, if a person is paying spousal support, can this be listed as a tax deduction from their income? No, unfortunately, it cannot. You have to pay tax on the money that you pay in spousal maintenance the same way you do for child support. What are some of the main differences between the way spousal support payments should be treated by the person making the payments and the recipient? Well, all of those changes are now gone. So the person who receives the money receives that money free and clear without any tax consequences. And there's no need for the person paying spousal maintenance to be, capturing that in terms of receipts or proving that for tax consequences, because you don't get any tax breaks. Which types of payments are considered to be required to equalize the distribution of the couple's assets? Well, that's a great question. And it kind of mixes the issues of spousal maintenance and property division. If you are receiving, let's say you're receiving a rental property in your divorce and you're getting rental income. That's income. The person who receives that house and that rental income has to pay tax on the income. That is separate from spousal maintenance. As we discussed, spousal maintenance is not deductible or for the payor, and it is not taxable for the person who gets that money. For tax purposes, what is required for a payment to qualify as spousal maintenance or alimony in Mesa? That's a great question. So if you are dividing property, so let's say I own a business and I have to pay my ex-spouse money for his or her interest in the business. That is property division. It is not spousal support. So it is not taxable, it is not deductible, it does not qualify as spousal support. Spousal support has to be incremental payments made, usually on a monthly basis, not property. It's got to be actual cash, not in the same household. You cannot be living together. The payment cannot be child support. And there cannot be any liability after death. So after someone dies, if you're still paying something, it's really not spousal maintenance at that point. How are cash payments to a third party on behalf of one spouse considered spousal support? I don't exactly understand that question. But payments made to a lender or on behalf of a debt or on behalf, let's say somebody is agreeing to pay your medical bills or your car payment or your house, that may or may not be considered spousal maintenance. It can be really nice it used to matter because there used to be this tax benefit when someone was paying spousal maintenance because they could deduct it. But since that went away, all of the creative ways that we used to use spousal maintenance is really just no longer a factor. What are the consequences for not listing spousal support payments as income? That all of this has gone away. What are the 3 things that are most important for a person to know about taxes and spousal support payments? While this used to be very complicated and something that we paid a lot of attention to because of the changes in the spousal maintenance laws, it's now pretty darn straightforward. The person who gets the income pays the tax on the income. Then when it goes to spousal maintenance payments, that person that receives it gets that tax-free. How will an attorney make sure to go over the tax implications? That also became a lot easier with these changes. Should a couple negotiating spousal support consult with only an attorney, or is it important to speak with a tax specialist as well? It used to be that we needed to speak to an accountant and we needed to look at all of the tax consequences. We still do want to speak with an accountant about the tax consequences of divorce because there's things like the underlying basis of the property value transfers with divorce. So there are tax complications when you're getting a divorce. And so it does make sense to talk to an accountant, but not necessarily about the spousal maintenance piece. I hope that clears up any misunderstandings that there are about spousal maintenance payments in Arizona and in Mesa and all over the country. If you have further questions, make sure to reach out to us. We're happy to help.